it's important for us to elevate what has been said already. One is about safety, worker safety, community safety. That is paramount. And I think that this amendment addressed the concerns I heard in the Finance Committee yesterday by Senator Rarick. And so from that vantage point, I believe that Senator Bigham's amendment is responsible, is responsive, and is appropriate. The second thing that I would mention, and I'm not certain that this has changed, but the original amendment that was adopted by or passed off this floor included an enactment date of somewhere around October 22nd. And the significance of that is the fact that this is not a provision that would be enacted or implemented immediately. That means that there's time. There's something to be stated around time. Even though time is neutral, it is what we do within that time is what makes time important and significant. And here, Mr. President, I believe we have time for this placeholder and this amendment to be placed on this bill, and for all the necessary parties who disagree with any aspect of the language, they can work on it, and they can work on it now. But we can put this amendment on now. And Mr. President, I know I use the term placeholder not in any derogatory way or to demean the significance of putting this language in the bill, but in fact it is to reach back on a historical fact that I can attest to. As the chief author of the expungement bill, right now the current law for expungement is 609A, and if you look in that particular provision, you'll see when we're asked the question whether women or others and men who've been charged with a domestic issue, whether that is expungible. And there was some language put there. But that language, the advocates wasn't quite sure if it really captured everything they wanted it to capture. But we put the language there, and we put it there as a placeholder. In fact, in that language, it says in 609A is that if no changes are made by a given date, which would allow us to have the summer and then the upcoming legislative session. If no new language was passed, then this language would go forward. But it provided time. It provided an opportunity. But it was a placeholder in order to make sure that we acted expeditiously and that we didn't sit around with our hands just missing and us not working. But we needed to work. We needed to do something, especially if we wanted something to change under that bill. The other significant thing about this is that 50 members on this floor went forward and asked for the amendment or the language that we have now to go forward. Senator Marty said something yesterday, and I wanted to make sure I underscored it because it's appropriate based on the amendment that we have before us. I'm talking about the amendment that is before us. Is that when this language passed off the floor the other day, we have members from the Independent Caucus, the Republican Caucus, and the Democratic Caucus all work together and say this is language that we believe to be important. And so that's balance. That's bipartisanship. That's the way we are supposed to behave, and that is the way that we are supposed to act. If we do not accept it today and we allow what happened the other day to occur, which was for that amendment to be pulled off and now this new amendment for it not to be adopted, would send the wrong message to the community and also to employers. So it is for that reason I would hope that we all would support the Bigham Amendment because it is appropriate. It's something that we did before, and in fact it is better because it addresses any concerns that was articulated by Senator Rarick. So thank you, members. Join me in supporting the Bigham Amendment.